Responding to a question I recently got about Facebook groups, Joe asked, if I'm a bankruptcy attorney, why do I need a Facebook group? Because bankruptcy is a one and done thing. And you're right, bankruptcy is definitely a one and done thing. But the reason that you want a Facebook group is because a lot of people that will eventually file for bankruptcy are not necessarily ready to file for bankruptcy right this second. So how do you create, if you're a bankruptcy attorney, how do you create a group that will benefit you in the long run? Well, what you can do is you can create a group maybe about eliminating debt, or about paying off credit cards, or how to, so something like that. There's a lot of, if you go to Facebook and you search debt relief, there's a lot of different groups that come up on the subject of debt relief. So what you can do, and the reality is that bankruptcy is not the solution for everybody. There's probably lots of, I'm sure that there's people that come into your office, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but there's probably people that come into your office that maybe bankruptcy isn't the best solution for them. But what you can do is you can create a group where you help people with their debt issues. And like I said, if you go to Facebook and you search debt relief, credit repair, different things like that, you will find other groups. And I actually searched before I got in the car here, and there's groups that have a couple thousand members. So people are joining these groups. So if you become the leader of this group and you talk about all the different ways that people can reduce their debt and help repair their credit and all that kind of stuff, and bankruptcy being one of those options, and then that's how you build a captive audience. And then you can show, you can talk to people about the benefits of bankruptcy, things that people don't know about bankruptcy, when bankruptcy is a good idea, when bankruptcy is not a good idea, how bankruptcy works, the different types of bankruptcies, and also you can show them, the most important thing is show them the benefit of possibly filing for bankruptcy, where instead of making the minimum payment on 25 credit cards, you can have one affordable monthly payment, and you're not going to have to worry about creditors calling you all day long and blowing up your phone, and the stress of getting all those letters, and worrying about losing your house, and worrying about this and that and all that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of stuff you can do in a Facebook group if you're a bankruptcy attorney. It's just kind of being a little bit creative. And because most time, I always say this, most people nowadays, you're going for home runs when you really should be going for singles. That's how you really build a really big presence on the internet for yourself, or a really big name for yourself, is just introduce people to you and start kind of introducing yourself as the authority on a particular subject. It's kind of how I've done it, where what I do is I introduce, a lot of people find me because I created a cheat sheet, and then I just kind of continually keep providing content on how to market a law firm, and I eventually become an authority in their eyes. And you can do that with bankruptcy. So you can find somebody that if you do your Facebook ads right, which, Joe, you're actually in my group, so you'll learn you'll learn exactly how to do the right kind of Facebook ads. But if you really focus on targeting the right people, and making sure that they find some piece of content that gets them into your world. So maybe you do a cheat sheet, 3 ways to get your creditors to stop calling you today, something like that. I don't know, some sort of cheat sheet that's going to target people, and then you get them in the group, and then you help them with their credit issues. And a lot of people, the eventual solution is going to be bankruptcy. Some people might not be bankruptcy, but the eventual solution for a lot of people will probably be bankruptcy. Now, if you're targeting these people, if they're getting all their information from you, if you're the authority that's giving them all this advice, why would they hire another lawyer? That's the power of the Facebook group, So it's very powerful. It doesn't matter what kind of law you practice. Bankruptcy, real estate, immigration. Just think about how much you know about a subject, and there's a lot of people that are very interested in that, that you can help. And as long as, and the thing is, as long as you're providing value, that's the biggest thing. It's just value. If you provide value, then it'll work out, and that's that. Hopefully that answers your question as to how a group, benefits a bankruptcy attorney. So, all right, let me know if you have any more questions. I'm happy to help, and I'll talk to you soon.